Hi, I'm Debbie Schaefer of The Well-Mannered Dog, and I have been helping dog lovers train their dogs to be exceptional pets since 1987. Today we're going to talk about indoor games and activities you can play to tire out your dog. So over the last few months, I've been pulling clients and asking them, what is it about the wintertime that makes exercising their dog more difficult? I was overwhelmed by your responses. You gave me some great information and you were so generous with your time in filling out the questions. I found that three broad categories were the areas that were people were getting stuck in exercising their dog during the winter. Well, I've got some great solutions for you. So I thought I'd shoot a quick video that addressed these issues. And so today we're talking about indoor games to help tire out your dog. By far, the number one reason people said that exercising their dog in the wintertime is the obvious one. Had to do with the weather, either because it's cold or it's wet or it's muddy. Everything fell into that category. It's just unpleasant out there. And boy, I hear you. I also have difficulty getting out there in the wintertime because of the weather. I think that's very common. But we have some solutions for that, and that is to exercise our dog indoors. We can exercise them indoors. I'll talk about the details of that here soon. The second big reason stated was the lack of lighting, the fact that we don't have as many hours in the day in which we have daylight. If when you leave for work it's dark and you come home from work it's dark, you start questioning safety. Is it safe for me to take my dog on a walk in the dark? But you also question safety of, is it safe for me to do retrieving games with my dog in the dark? Is it going to run into something? Am I going to run into something? So safety becomes a big issue when we don't have the lighting that's necessary for proper exercise. The third big reason is space. Some people know that they could exercise their dog indoors, but they don't have the space available to do it, or they think they don't have the space available to do it. And I found a common misconception that people have is that in order to exercise their dog, that the dog needs to be running. And that's not the case. Luckily, it's not the case. Just like with people, we could go on a jog to exercise ourselves, but there's also a big variety of other ways of exercising. And when you're done with those types of exercise, like yoga or weightlifting or core strengthening exercises, you feel like you had a workout. It tires you out. And just like with people, there are other ways of exercising dogs that don't involve running. Now, it'd be fair to say, getting your dog running, games that get your dog running, they are fun and they are addictive. So I'm not saying we have to eliminate those because some of us do have indoor spaces that would facilitate that. But if you don't have that available, don't let that hold you back. So one of the problems that we see is when dogs are getting a lack of quality exercise, that dog lovers feel guilty. They feel guilty about the fact that, they just can't get out there and they can't do the type of exercise that they want to do and that they would normally be doing with their dog. And then on top of that, their dog starts misbehaving. And so that causes frustration because we know that misbehavior is due to a lack of mental and physical exertion on the dog's part, the lack of exercise, but it's hard to get it in. So the combination of guilt and frustration just kind of plays on everything and makes it a lot worse. The solution is to definitely implement indoor games, and that's where my job comes in, is to teach you how to do that. Indoor games are going to brilliantly mentally and physically stimulate your dog. They are going to be great for giving your dog the type of exercise that facilitates wonderful manners from your dog, and they can even enhance your dog's ability to follow commands and to be well behaved, to listen to you when you want it to listen to you.
Let's get started on a game. This game is a food search inside the house, and it is typically how I end all training or exercise sessions because it causes a sense of well-being and calmness for dogs.
This first game is a food search that happens inside the house. So my dog's food, 1 cup of food, is going to be about 375 pieces of kibble. And this means that I can hide each piece of kibble in different locations around the house. So right now we're in my office, and I'm going to start hiding food, and then you can watch Huli find her food. So first location I'm picking is on each side of this chair. So I've got 4 legs. I'm going to be putting kibble on each side of those legs. I'm also going to make sure that I put kibble underneath the chair. So she's going to have to scrunch down to get under there to get the food. I'm going to put some kibble along the baseboard. So she's searching along the baseboard to find the food. I've got another chair over here. This one is different because it'll roll as she's pushing onto it in order to get the food. So it'll move a little bit on her. Lots of food. This is a small room. I still have a lot of different spots that I can put the food. Now, when it gets easy for the dog, you can put the food up on vertical surfaces. So this is a chair that Huli is allowed to be in. I'm putting some food on the arms of the chair. I'm putting it on the seat of the chair. In the beginning, your dog's not going to know to look up for the food, so you might have to help it with that stage. Okay, who's coming in? Okay, let's watch Huli find her food. She went for the chair first. She didn't need any help with that. She's finding little pieces of food on the chair, sniffing and searching. And now she's going for the baseboard. She's finding them underneath the rolling chair. See how she has to work a little bit to get each of those pieces of food. The amount of food I've put out is maybe 20 pieces, so I still have a ton of food that I could lay out in the other rooms. So what I recommend is that you put the dog in a crate or put it in one room, hide your food all around the house in all the different rooms, then let the dog go search. While the dog's searching in most of the rooms that you've already put it into, then you can add food in the room that you had them hidden away in. This activity with 1 cup of food could take about 20 minutes for the dog to search and find all those pieces of kibble.
This searching game was first introduced to a select group of students last year, and as you can see from their comments, they loved it, and they wanted a more advanced version of this game. So for dogs that already know how to search out the food, we can make it more advanced. This advanced version of the game is going to enhance confidence in low-confidence dogs and can be an absolute blast for dogs that already have high confidence.
So what I've done is I've taken anything that's cardboard, so egg cartons and boxes left over from the holidays, and I've filled my room with them. In among them is pieces of my dog's meal, little toys that my dog hasn't had for a while, can be hidden, and I'm just sprinkling them all over the place for my dog to find. So as Huli comes in, she's going to be pushing at the boxes to get the food. She's in control of how the boxes move. So this makes it so that we can build her confidence. I'm using only things made out of cardboard for this level of the game because I want to boost her confidence. If I already had a really high confidence dog that was not at all sensitive and it would plow, then maybe I could use some other things like plastic jugs and things like that. Things that are going to make more noise, maybe scoot faster. But at this stage, I want to build confidence with a low level difficulty behavior. So you can see, Huli's pushing the boxes around, trying to get at the pieces of food. She's sniffing. So she's using her sense of smell. The boxes are moving. She has to step on them sometimes in order to get the food. So she has this different feel of the surface underneath her. But it's all at a level that's building confidence. She's happy. She wants to be in there and doing it. At no point are we seeing any startling responses.
Scenting to find hidden food is a workout for dogs. This game in itself can be exhausting. If you have a dog that has high confidence, it will look a little different in that your dog will be plowing into the boxes and might send them flying.
Another foundation game that you can start playing with your dog is any type of targeting game. So if you've already taught your dog a hand target, that's going to aid your dog in learning other targeting games. Targeting is a foundation skill that you can use to teach a lot of different things. And it is exceptionally helpful in teaching your dog indoor games. So to start off with targeting training, you can take any object. So I have a pink spider. You can see who he wants it already. All I'm going to do is present the spider, and she's going to see my hand moving. The movement of my hand is going to attract her attention there. And that's what I want to reward, is her looking at the spider at a very beginning level for the training. So I bring the spider out, she looks, I reward at the spider, I hide the spider. I bring the spider out, she looks at the spider, I reward at the spider. I can toss a piece of food away to get her away from me, and as she's turning back towards me, I bring the spider out, she looks at the spider, I reward at the spider, and I toss a piece of food away. You can do this with any type of object. It doesn't matter what you're using. What you're trying to do is get a foundation behavior of look at that and then approach it. So when this gets too easy, you're only going to reward the dog for approaching the spider. She approaches the spider, you're going to reward at the spider. And then you can advance it on until she has to actually touch the spider before the reward is given. If you do this with a variety of objects, you're going to have the foundation skills necessary in order to use this for other indoor games. So right now, this doesn't look like an indoor game. But what I can picture for Huli, because I am not really good friends with spiders, touching this plastic spider is hard for me, but I can picture us teaching her a game of picking it up and chasing me and tagging me with the spider as an indoor game. I think that would be a hoot. It'd be a lot of fun. She would think it's funny. But first I have to teach her to target it, then I have to teach her to pick it up, and then I have to teach her to chase me with it, and then I have to teach her to tag me. So right now we're just building the foundation part, the targeting of the spider. My ideal is that I do this targeting with a lot of different objects. So here, I'm doing the targeting using an old sour cream container. My rewards are going to be placed into the container. So there's a hole in the back end of the container. She looks at it. I'm going to reward on the inside of the container, causing her nose to go in. This is still a targeting behavior. It's just a put your whole nose in there as opposed to a touch it with your nose behavior. So I would start it off the same way. If she looks at it, I'm going to reward on the inside. Here, honey, here's your cookie. Looking at it gets a reward on the inside, causing her to want to put her nose in it. Because the rewards are going on the inside, she's going to want to put her nose in there, even if I haven't already put food in there. So after a number of repetitions, she's going to want to stick that nose in there. I'm still putting rewards on the inside of the container for her. Now, what this can lead to is some really interesting scent games, where your dog is figuring out what object has your scent on it. And as you've already learned, scenting games are exhausting for dogs. So here's an example of a game that I'm going to start Huli on. I've taken a plastic container that has a good size hole in it. This is a Truvia container. I have a total of 3 of them. And 2 of them have white socks in it that I have not touched. The third one has a light gray sock in it that has been against my skin, putting my scent on here. So the goal is that she can pick out the container that has my scent on it. I'm not going to show you the full training process of this, but this is an example of where that game, where she's putting her nose into the plastic sour cream container, where you can end up in taking that game if you play it. So this container is the one that has my scent on it. She got it correct. And now I'm switching the position. She said, oh, no, it was there. Now it's not. It's this one over here. And she got it correct. She figured out which of those containers had my scent on it. And we're going to make it hard again. I'm going to switch the position of the container. And her job is to figure out which container has my scent. Perfect. A very clear indication that she found the correct container. Okay, so if you want to start a targeting behavior with your dog so that you can use it for indoor games, start off with any object. Bring it out, your dog looks at it, reward at the object. You can toss a piece of food away. You saw me tossing food away to get Huli away from me. I then hid the object, brought it out again. When that's too easy, wait until the dog's moving towards the object before you place your reward there. And when that's too easy, wait until your dog actually touches it before you place your food there. As you can see, these targeting games can build to something that is a lot more fun and a lot more active for your dog.
Our Kiss the Kitty game also starts off with targeting. In this case, the dog is targeting a paper kitty that I've put on the wall. But this game is going to lead into a racing and chasing game where she runs up to the kitty, races back to me to get her reward. Now, for those of you who have real kitties in your house, you don't have to worry about this causing a problem with your cats because your dog distinctly knows the difference between a paper kitty and a real kitty.
One game in itself might not be enough to tire out your dog, but when you team up multiple games, one game plus another game, or 2 or 3 games, then you're going to find that you have this very brilliant system for exercising your dog, giving it the mental stimulation that you need, plus the physical exercise in order to tire out your dog and to meet those needs without ever having your dog running. So these games not only are fun, and they're not only exercising your dog, but they can lead to practical behaviors that you want in the future. Now, some games that you might want to play with your dog might involve running. And I understand from the survey that I did, some of you are concerned because you have hardwood floors and big dogs. And so if that's the case, you probably want to get your dog used to wearing dog booties. In the text below this blog post, I'm going to post a link on some place where you can find dog booties for your dog. The booties will protect your hardwood floors and make it so that should you choose to do any games that involve having your dog race and chase around the house, that your floors are going to be protected.
In addition to scent games and confidence games, you might choose to do what is the equivalent of core training for humans. They enhance balance and they deeply work muscles, which is exhausting and provide an excellent workout for your dog. In the past, in our fun and games classes, we have taught dogs to balance on exercise balls and roll themselves across the floor.
Indoor games are such a hoot to play. Both you and your dog are going to love the variety and the types of things you can be doing. It's going to be fantastic to play these games, and you're going to be having such a blast. Remember, these games are not just for small dogs, and they're not for people who live in the houses. You can play these games in any type of environment. You're going to have a dog that is actively having fun. It's getting exercise, it's getting mental stimulation, and because this fun is including you, you're going to have a dog that follows commands better, listens to you better, Even when there's distractions, they're going to be able to listen and follow your cues better because of these games. Because your dog's going to have an association that you equal fun. Dogs love playing these games. Now, I understand that some people don't necessarily want to use food when they're training their dog, and that's okay. You can substitute toys. Anytime we're talking about a reward, you can use toys instead. Instead of handing your dog a piece of food or throwing a piece of food, you can throw a toy, or you can play tuggy with your dog as a reward system. So most of these games are going to be really, really easy to use toys with, as well as food rewards. These games are going to improve the quality of life for both you and your dog, and that is what I love about indoor games. Is during the winter when it's difficult to get outside and you just don't want to get out in the weather, or maybe the lighting is bad, you still have activities that are fun and engaging and that are going to exercise your dog to the point of being tired. And your whole relationship is going to be enhanced because your dog's not misbehaving due to a lack of exercise. I've been playing these games with my dogs for years. People think because I have herding breed dogs that I have to exercise my dog for hours, and I don't. Exercise isn't about running. It's not about making the dog go fast. As a matter of fact, there's studies that show if you're doing a sprinting style exercise with your dog where you're having it run as fast as you can, you're actually putting a stressor on the dog and causing an adrenaline rush, which is not to your advantage for a calm dog that lives within human society. But what I do play with my dogs is a lot of different games. In the wintertime, I play a lot of indoor games with my dog to help tire it out and to make it so that I don't have to go outside. So this past September, when I published an email series on indoor games that people could be playing with their dog, I got a ton of positive feedback. You know, probably the most popular game that people commented on was the scatter feeding indoors game, because they had so simple and so easy to play that both the dogs and the people just loved it. And I so appreciated all the feedback that you gave me on all those games. Because of all this feedback, and because I recognize that wintertime is really difficult for getting dogs out, I decided to do a deep dive training into indoor games that you could be playing with your dog. So today, this blog post, lots of free information, but I am going to provide a deep dive course on these indoor games. The course is going to include a big variety of games. There's going to be games that increase confidence. There's going to be games that are going to enhance your dog's ability to follow commands and behave. There's going to be games that are racing and chasing games, as well as games that are not. There's going to be games that are going to help your dog build that core strength and help your dog learn to balance better. There's going to be games that involve sniffing and scent work. There is a huge variety of games that we're going to include in this course so that you can do some picking and choosing as to what you like and what ones are best for you and your dog. So how this class is going to work is it's going to be an online class, and we're going to have 5 live calls. Before each call, you're going to get an email with links to the new training games. And those links are going to have videos of how to play the games. So you're going to start playing the games and then the live calls, we're going to make sure that we're addressing your specific needs. So we're going to give you the support that you need, and you're going to have a blast playing the games. Each call after that is going to expand upon those desired games. We're going to have a limited number of spots in the class so that I can give you that direct support that you need. So here's the deal. Underneath this video is a form. If you want an email on when we open up this class, is put your name and your email address in the form. At this point, you're not obligating yourself to anything. You're just saying you want to receive an email when registration for the class begins, which is going to be within 1 week. Okay, so go ahead and right now, type in your name and your email address if you want to be included in that email, and feel free to post a video of your dog having a wonderful time with the games that we covered today. You can post it in my Facebook page, or you can send me a video, you can email me a video directly of your dog playing the games.